Check 1, 2, check, check. Whoops, that was a mistake. Welcome back to another week, guys. How are you all doing? Good to see a lot of familiar faces in the chat. We've got Jordan, Kaye, Zero, Doughboy God, excuse me, losing my voice already. Good grief. Nate's Film Tutorials. What's going on, Nate? Good to see you. Everyone should check out his channel as well as Alex Miner's channel. We've got Bart Johnson. Actually, all these people have great channels, so you should check them all out. Jordan Rivers, G-Wiz, Mr. Camera Junkie, the one and only. And we got Brandon. Good to see you, Brandon. And man, I love seeing the familiar faces, which is a lot easier to do these days when I actually do streams every single week. Also, I just noticed I am stereo, it looks like. Or I'm sorry, mono. You guys only hear me in one ear? Let me know. Let's see. Let me see. At least let me know if you only hear me in one ear. Tell me, and I'll try to fix it here. I switched to this microphone, which we talked about in today's video, which I posted, I don't know, a couple hours ago. So this is that Behringer Ultra Voice X8500. It's a $20 microphone, and funnily enough, I did that video, and I did the testing, and it's funny, I think this $20 microphone sounds better than the $100 microphone that I use for the majority of that video. So if you haven't already, check out that video, and both sides, excellent. Okay, it's coming in on mono, but my Atem is converting it to stereo, so we're good to go. How's everybody doing? Anything new going on this week? I have not checked in with the news, whether that be in the world or in our industry, so I'm a little out of touch the last couple of weeks. But hope you all are doing well. A couple orders of business before we dive in. I'm trying to do this every single week, so if you haven't already, subscribe. I believe only subscribers can hang out in the chat. That way it just kind of keeps things nice and tight. It gets a little out of control. Otherwise, I am selling a bunch of gear on Gear Focus. Links in the description. If you have any questions about this setup, all of that is in the description so that we can focus on your questions about video or really anything. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments. That's what we do here on these Helpline hotlines, video production hotline. I'm here to help you out as best I can, if I can. So what do we have in the way of questions? All right, I'm scrolling up a little bit, and then I'm going to jump down to fresh. But for now, Yuriv, can a Lumix GH5 send out a clean feed through HDMI and live stream and record 4K internally? I believe so. Maybe not without a limitation in 4K 60. I'm sure Alex is in here answering this question as well. But yes, you can get a clean feed out of the GH5. Love that camera. It's one of the few cameras that's getting long in the tooth, but still totally kills it. It's fantastic. Fantastic camera. Question. Let's see. Okay. Does this 3D printed mount work for the SM58 as well? That I don't know. So I didn't have that microphone. In hindsight, that probably would have been a great microphone to include in that video. So if the handle dimensions match either the XM8500 or the SM58, then it will work. But the two models that I created and put in that free file that you can download and print yourself, those are based off of those two. So, you know, if the SM58 has the same handle size, the I'm sorry, SM57 matches the SM58, then it'll be good to go. If enough people ask, I might go ahead and create another version so that more screw it, we could just do a whole bunch of microphones. And hey, if someone has an SM58 and they just want to ship it to me, then I'll go ahead and whip something together for everybody. Okay, cool. Good question. And man, Alex Miner, you're killing me here, man. $30 donation. I'm going to actually move this. Hold on a second. Excuse me while I move some things around. There we go. $30 donation from Alex. Can I buy that mic off of you? Ooh, let's talk in Discord, man. Shoot me a DM in our Discord, and we'll talk. I've got a bunch of, parts laying around from all the prototyping, and I'm hoping to print more. So I only sold 5, just kind of get some out there. But, we might do more. So stay tuned. If I do, I'll talk about them here on this stream or on Twitter or something like that. All right, and thank you for the donation, dude. You're super not necessary, but very much appreciated, man. You're crazy. I use 3 GH5s, maybe, with a 12 to 60 kit lens to record maybe you meant G85. There we go. Classical concerts in low light. Noise is pretty bad. Yep. Could you suggest something else for around $1,000, $1,300, like a Pocket 4K? I mean, if you're wanting better low light, you could go better lenses. That will help. The GH5S, camera-wise, would do a great job. I think that's a little out of your price range, though. I mean, you could go with something like an A6400 used. You might be able to find that for around $1,300, and that would definitely be better at low light. Especially, here's what I would do. Let's let me fire up a browser here. One moment. Perfect. Let's hop over here. Let's go to B&H. Or no, we'll go eBay. We'll do this on a budget, shall we? Sony A6400. You could go 63, but I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so here's one for under $1,000. Let's go even cheaper. One feature I love about, let's see, Sony Alpha A6400. One feature that is really cool. Oh, it's not really showing up here. Interesting. But often eBay will have a little thing at the top here somewhere where it says, it'll see a trend like, oh, you can find these cameras under $1,000, and you can click on under $1,000. But I don't see that here. So it looks like for under $1,000, you can pick up one of these guys. So I would probably look for a body only because you'll save a little money. You can add your own lens. So here's one. So anyway, you pick one of these up. I don't know if this, that's bid. Okay. Let's choose this one. You can probably save more, but let's say you buy this camera, right? That's just under $1,000 and comes with a lens. Oh no, it doesn't. It's body only. Okay, so we're good to go with that. Then what I would do is go out and buy the Sigma 56mm f1.4. Add Sony E to that search. Oops. Right there. So for another, looks like 200 and change, 250, 220, you can pick up this little gem, which is going to be around an 85mm. And my guess is since you're filming like, further out and you're trying to capture, whoops, I just realized I left your message over everything. Sorry about that, everyone. That lens combination is really fast. So that's going to be a low light killer combo, going with an A6400 and a Sigma 56, and they also have a 30, and you could get other lenses, but that's going to do really, really good at low light. That's probably what I would go with. So sorry, everyone, if that took a little too long or I was covering up the screen with the message. Little distortion. Okay, so I am... Oh, gee. I just looked at my levels, and I'm definitely cranking. So let me drop my levels a little bit. Let me know if you guys keep hearing distortion, but that ought to solve it. So I just dropped the level on my preamp a little bit. That should take care of that. Question. Have you watched The Bear on Hulu? I have not. Made me miss Chicagoland. Bad grew up there. Such a good show. Cool, dude. I'll have to check that out. I have not seen it. And yeah, Chicagoland. Love it. Is anyone... It's annoying that your SM7B don't have headphone jack. Oh, yeah, I suppose you could, DIY it. I tried to make this as simple as possible. You know, one of the designs was like out of control, and I was like, no one's ever going to make this. Question about the Lightstorm 300D Mark II. Should I just fork out the cash, or is there cheaper that is equally awesome? You might look, I mean, there's some alternatives now. That light's a little old. If you can't swing for a 600D, not the D Pro, the 600D, there might be some more powerful lights from GVM, some other companies. I haven't looked at a 300D alternative, but I'm sure by now there's several. Just ordered the MK440. Any tips for on-camera stereo mics? Ooh, interesting. Well, I personally wouldn't go for a stereo mic unless I was trying to film let's say you're, filming in Japan in these gorgeous gardens and you want to like capture, the ambience of a space. That's where I would use a stereo microphone. Otherwise, for dialogue, I much prefer a shotgun or mono that you can convert to stereo so that you don't have strange sounds, and they usually do better for dialogue. But otherwise, yeah, stereo microphone on camera, not great for voices. So that's kind of my take on that. Any plans to review a Canon R7 camera? Yes, whenever it comes out. It's still not out yet, right? We got that. What's up, Baron? Can you convince Sony to allow us to change the white balance in custom dial modes? I know, man. It is nuts. And I wish I could, but I'm not on the in on Sony stuff, unfortunately. Or really anyone for that matter. Yes, you can. Okay, there we go. Boom. Planning to film my first documentary shoot soon. I've been traveling to Kenya. Cool. Have a rigged out S5. Wondering if I should rent an FX6. Thoughts? Run and gun. Yeah, an FX6 would be pretty baller. You're going to get better autofocus. You're going to have that electronic ND, which is in the documentary world. Honestly, FX6 is just an amazing camera for run and gun stuff. So yes. What is my favorite filmmakers for Christ? What is my favorite camera that you use? That is a really good question, and I'm going to have to go with the A7 IV. Doesn't have good rolling shutter, but dadgummit if that thing isn't bang for buck value-wise. I'm using that thing constantly. It's my thumbnail camera. It's my main camera. It's my B-roll camera. I'm tempted to sell my A7S III and get another one, actually, but probably not going to do that. Captivation Films. Is there a way to X-Tele convert on the S1? Not really. Yeah, APS-C is your best bet. You can do a digital zoom, I think, so you can check that out, if I remember correctly, but it's been a while. Yes, we've talked about the annoying headphone jack. What budget camera would you recommend for a wedding filmmaker? Let's say under 1K. I mean, again, that A7 IV is pretty baller. It's just you're going to have, I believe, a record limit. So you could record externally. That kind of defeats purpose. But for just running around filming stuff, that's still a great camera. The only problem is it's 8-bit. But I have a LUT, and I think I might do that video next week, where I finally, I know I feel like I've said this so many times, but solved the Sony 8-bit mess as best as we can. So, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, GH5 is not going to be good with low light, but dadgummit, that camera's great. I don't know about either of those, so I can't help you out there. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and ban somebody here because they won't stop repeating themselves. Sorry, bud. Okay. I've noticed that some magenta patches are showing up in the A7S III in log formats, even in all intra. Interesting. Is there any other Sony camera that doesn't have that magenta patch? Interesting. So I don't know how severe it is. For me, it's almost non-existent when you're shooting in 10-bit. So you really have to shoot an XAVC SI 4K. And I haven't noticed that problem. But if you compare it to like Panasonic and zoom into like 5,000%, yes, you can see it. So I don't think it should be that big of a problem. Make sure you're careful with your LUTs. If you have crazy LUTs, you might have some issues there, or color grading. But oh, I love these budget questions. All right, Alan, if you had a $1,200 budget for your first lighting kit, what would you recommend? Amaran 200D, 100X, Light Dome 2, Lantern, MC. Thoughts? Dude, you're nailing it. right now, the best bang for buck, in my opinion, when it comes to quality and all that, is going to be, I mean, the 200D, the fan is a little annoying. So I personally am more of a 100D. I'd almost prefer to have two 100Ds mounted to a baby header. So if you guys don't know what that is, those are awesome and really, really handy. A great, you don't have to buy one light if you need a lot of output. So we're going to go B&H. Why is this not? I hate this keyboard. I need to change it out. All right, so let's go baby double header. These little fellers right here. This one's a little pricey, but there's one for 34 bucks. But you throw this on there, you throw a ton of lights on it, and bam, you don't have to have a single light. Now I know whoa, sorry about that. I know you probably want to put a softbox on there, but yeah, the 200D just can get really loud and annoying. But yeah, 100D, 100X, really, really great lights. Light Dome 2, it's a little small for my taste. I would go for go on eBay or Amazon and look for a 60-inch softbox. I don't really like those light domes. They're just too small. I'm using one right now, and I don't even really. It's not quite doing it for me. And then MC's gold. Yep, 100%. So you're right on with all of that. All right. Let's see. Overall thoughts on Avid. Haven't really used it since like 2005 or 6. So I can't really tell you. Ooh, if you could build your own camera, what would be your top 3 specs? That's an amazing question, Nate. I'm going to say full frame, ND, and really good dynamic range. Those 3 things, because I just really love full frame. It's just so convenient. And if it had ND and had good dynamic range, I could forgo a lot of other stuff. But that's the combination that's missing with really small cameras. Can you even imagine like a Sony or a Panasonic, with built-in ND? Not faders, I mean real built-in ND, like a cinema camera. That'd be sweet. Okay, we've already talked about that. Do you know anything about the new APS-C coming in November? I don't, but I wish I did, man. And I'm super stoked for APS-C to make a comeback. A basic pair of near-field monitors are good headphones. So I love the Sony MDR7506 headphones. These are also a great option. These are Sinal headphones. They're pretty much a copy of the 7506s. Very similar, but they have detachable cables, which is pretty sick, and the 7506s don't have that, and you can twist to lock them. So I really like those. They don't quite, sound as good, but that'll get the job done. Near field speakers, that's not really my cup of tea, so I can't really speak to that with any kind of remote authority. All right, where do we leave off? Boom, boom. Sneaky Blue. How do you go fast on YouTube? I spent hours in my room thinking of what to do to make my channel better. Less time thinking about it, more time making videos, right? That's a tough one. I wish I could grow faster now. We all wish we could grow faster. My channel's, if you look at analytics, is kind of in a slump right now. So, that's the thing I don't like about the world we live in. The algorithm world is no longer do good work and people will eventually find you. It's controlled by the algorithm, which, in a way, if it's good according to the algorithm, you're going to get views. So I would focus on making more content. And when something sticks or pops, figure out why. Look at the analytics, see what was different about that video. And that's probably your best bet. But more and more, I'm less looking at, trying to do all of the 57 things right to get the perfect video. Just have a good title, a good thumbnail, and a great video that helps people or people like to watch. It's not too complex. I think we like to overthink it and be like, oh, I've got to have the right tags and all that stuff. Really doesn't matter. This might alarm you. This is not whiskey. This is water in a whiskey bottle. So excuse me as I drink some water here and look absurd. I left my normal water bottle at the house, so my giant water backup is in play today. All right, I am pretty far behind. So, already, Caleb? Yeah, no, I'm going to just carry on. Let's just stick with this here. Okay, question. Just bought an A7S II. Interesting, and I love the low light capabilities, but it's been giving me trouble on sunny days. Any budget ND recommendations or other ideas? Yep, go out and get us a good set of ND filters. Excuse me. There's a bunch of brands out there. Just do your research, but get normal NDs. Don't do a fader ND, or do a comparison, because trust me, once you see what's wrong with variable NDs, you won't want to do it. So get some good NDs, and I love the little magnetic adapters. I keep closing my browser window here. So I think it's called X-Zoom filter adapter. These things are awesome. So I have a set of these in a 77 millimeter size, but they're magnetic, so you can put your filters on them and then throw one of these adapters on your lens, and then you just snap your filters on real quick, and then you get the filters you like. You get these magnetic dealios, and you get a filter pouch. Specifically, what's the brand? There's one that I really like. I feel like it should be here. Come on. Mindshift. There's a little guy. There it is. This one right here. Mindshift Gear Filter Nest Mini Filter Pouch. This thing is great. Look at all those filters you can put in there. So you have your filters, and you have all your little magnetic adapters on your filters, and then you can simply just switch back and forth between 2 or 3 ND filters, and trust me, that's going to look so much better than faders. All right. Every time I come back, the chat has shifted here, so let me try to find my spot. I may have to jump right in. Want to record 2 cameras for interviews, but don't want to buy 2 Ninja 5s to bypass 30-minute record limit. Any tips? Oh, man. Maybe get one camera that doesn't have that, or record in 1080p, and you can use one Ninja 5 to record more than one camera. I believe that's possible, but it has to be in 1080, I believe. So that's probably what I would recommend, if you're okay with 1080. Watching your videos, it's very enjoyable. Had a question. My camera is A7S III, and the lenses I use Sony G Master. Shoot with DSLR 3, but give a lot of tingling. Doesn't go with color. Not sure what that means. Let me clarify, and we'll figure that out for you. Semi-related, what's your printer do you use for the SM7BS? I love that people are picking up on that. That's so great. Those hole in the cover came out perfectly. Okay. Hole in the cover. Yeah, so I use Prusa printers. So for anyone who's into 3D printing, look up Prusa printers. And I have 4 i3 Mark IIIs. So that's what I've gone with. They have a bunch of different printers. Great company, really solid stuff. All right, you could go all day shooting with the A7S III FX2, 2 battery tops. Just get to cool. People will be chatting up in here. Love it. Love seeing everyone hanging out. Tips for shooting live events with a mix of house fluorescent lights without the option to gel. Also LED film lights that can be altered. That is a great question. And one thing when it comes to live especially is, and even filmmaking when you can plan stuff, figure out what's the most uncontrollable thing and work from there. So if you've got giant windows, you're going to set your exposure for your camera on those windows. Then you control whatever lighting you can. In your case, if the fluorescents are what you can control, get your color dialed in for that. If possible, turn all the lights off or go up to a fluorescent light. I've done this in the past. Get on a ladder, get up by the lights if they're all the same, and kind of like make a little tent, stick your camera in there with a thing that's white, get a custom white balance with just that fluorescent, if they're like all across the ceiling, then you can get down and try to match other lights. So yeah, do your best. And if you can't control, and there's all kinds of different color temperatures, just shoot for the middle, and you're going to have to do some work in post. But I feel your pain, man. We've all been there, and it is murderous. All right. What do we got here? David. Hey, Caleb. GH4 with Metabones 0.71 speed booster instead. Oh, I'm interested on a kit of 4 Canon FD lenses. Ooh, so you can't go FD to speed booster, to EF speed booster, but you can get a Canon FD speed booster. So that's what I would recommend. You can get an expensive one or a cheap one. Search eBay, you'll find a bunch of, Canon FD to micro four thirds speed booster or focal reducer, and you should find some. Does the FX3, 6, A7 IV fix the magenta patch issues? In my opinion, I have not had those problems. Any of the A7S3, A7 IV, FX3, FX6, when you shoot in 10-bit, I'm not having any issues. All right, what do we got here? Amaran. Wait, yes, we did that. Okay. Amaran P60C. What's up, Will? And I've been using a kicker light, using it as a kicker light on a modified furniture dolly that is loud and clunky. Do you have a favorite little short rolling cart that is also quiet? I mean, I did a video on a cart recently that folds up. I really love that thing. I would definitely check that out because I rigged up tons of lights on it. So that's probably up your alley. Just search for entire video studio on a cart or something like that, and you'll find that video. Going to buy the Godox ML60 by 60 watt. What do you think about it? I haven't used that myself, but I'm sure it'll be fine because I've used one of their 60 watts, and it's enough punch as long as there's not a ton of daylight. Any tips on getting commercial clients during the maybe upcoming recession? Retainers, best bang for buck, things you can offer. All good things to think about. Retainer is good. The only problem is now you're stuck with that. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? So I would probably right now really lean into kind of like social media. There's so much of that stuff going on. You could probably do a lot of work for companies just creating content for that. When it comes to getting more, it's just going to be doing as much work as possible, working with a lot of other people and doing some collaborations there. Best bang for buck things you can offer commercial clients. Yeah, I would say try to come up with maybe some clever deliverables. Maybe you can kind of like batch some of that stuff. So if it's going to be kind of Instagram reel ads, maybe you build a mini set and you can just, have a la carte thing where like, hey, I don't know, pick a dollar amount, $100, $1,000, $5,000, and bam, we just knock out, a little ad in our little space and you can streamline it, stuff like that. I found myself using the Rode Video Micro and love it. Is there any other budget mics around $100? 100%. Check out the Rode. Oh, I get them all mixed up. Rode. You said wireless or Video Micro? Right, Video Micro. Rode Video Mic Go 2. $100. Fantastic microphone. Big fan of that. I'll be traveling for a big shoot. This is Chad. I need it to look high budget, but can't pack my typical large lights. Is the P60 powerful enough? 60C, maybe. I don't know if you're indoor, outdoor. If you can control the lighting. If you can't, let me know. A 100D, a 200D, something like that if you're not going to be too close to it. Otherwise, those lights in a pinch will work. You just can't modify them a ton. The P60C, though, if you watch my video, you can kind of get an idea in a room what you can do with that light. And it's a decent amount. All right. Have you used Apple Continuity Camera with OBS? I've not. I'm on an ancient, I think I'm still on High Sierra because it's been working and I can't have things break. But hoping to upgrade here soon. Kevin, the basic filmmaker, just wanted to say hi. Still loving all your videos. Thanks, man. Everyone should check out his YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Greetings from Poland. Let's see. Questions. If you could have a lens for weddings, which one would it be? Probably a 28-75 Tamron if we're in Sony ecosystem. Lightweight, good range. But I don't really shoot weddings, and I did a couple times, and I really didn't like it, so maybe I'm not the person to ask. What log would you use for the A7S? So, A7S and or A7S II. I've done a video. If you check out my video, there's 2 pictures of me. One's got terrible skin. The other one's got less terrible skin. Check that out. Or search for Sony Color Caleb Pike or DSLR video shooter. Those settings in that video is what I would use. And you check that out because there's a lot of stuff in there. We've got a super chat from Marcus Love. Any questions, Marcus, or just dropping the love? Appreciate it, man. Thank you. GH5 user here, would you recommend a GH6 as an upgrade or moving on to a different system? I mean, if you love the GH5, you're just going to like love the GH6 on steroids. That thing is amazing. But if you're kind of done with smaller sensors and you're just kind of feeling the need for autofocus, maybe it's time to check out Sony. A7S III, wait for that crop sensor stuff from Canon and Sony. Maybe we'll get something interesting there. Best cheap lens for music videos, anything vintage. Check out my video I just did last week, I think. Gear under $100. There's a lens in there that looked, the bokeh on that was just beautiful, beautiful. So super fun, super affordable lens. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're looking for autofocus, Tamron, Sigma, all those budget guys are doing a pretty good job these days. All right, A7S III versus S1H versus Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. Choose one and explain why. I'm going to say, I'm kind of over Blackmagic for now. They're amazing cameras, don't get me wrong. It's got built-in ND. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But just the can't stand filming with that. Just makes me upset every time I have to touch that camera. So I sold mine. S1H is going to be the best image quality, in my opinion. Just a stunning camera. But the A7S III is really hard to beat. Full frame, 120 frames per second, 4K. And you're going to have, better color than previous Sonys. And of course, the autofocus is great. So I'd say it's a tie between those two, A7S III and S1H. If you don't care about autofocus, 100% S1H. Hey, Caleb, have a similar hairstyle to you. Nice. How do you prevent hot spots and glare? Is there a makeup product you use? I don't. You might be able to see a little bit of stuff today, maybe. But honestly, a really, soft light source is going to help you out. If I just take my phone and turn on my light here, now granted, it's going to be overexposed, but there's kind of a hot spot there, not necessarily because I'm greasy, that's part of it, but because there's a tiny point of light hitting something that's semi-reflective. Whereas if you back it up, even if the brightness was the same, it's just going to be less glary because light is evenly spreading across my face. So soften up your lights. Big soft boxes. You can definitely use like rice powder, and there's a bunch of videos you can find of people talking about makeup. But in my opinion, almost all problems go away when it comes to your hats, when it comes to glasses, when it comes to being bald. The bigger you make your key light, it just gets better. Yep. Oh man, are we that far behind? There's a good thumbnail. Thank you, Dave. All right, I'm gonna try to zip. How's it going? What's up, Fox Trail? Yeah. Oh, I think it's still available. At least I've been able to still buy them. Thoughts on Zcam? That's about all I have to say about that. Nothing super exciting for me. Cool form factor, but Uh-oh. No audio? Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay. People are saying no audio. Never mind, it's just him. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness, we've got some super chats. I'm going to have to jump down, guys, because I am behind. Michael, good to see you, boss. Schmidt. Brandon Talbot, $10 donation. Caleb, I'm looking for a high-quality lav to pair with the DJI mic. Any suggestions? Good question. I actually played with that myself last week and found that the Rode Wireless Go Lav, hilariously enough, was a great kind of middle-of-the-road budget option. So I'd probably recommend that. They have several different versions now, Rode's Lavs. But yeah, those are pretty good. Deity also makes some good ones, but I've been finding the Rode ones just kind of sound decent, and they're not going to break the bank. Like, what, $80, I think, is what those run, maybe $100. So, yeah. Professional APS-C, absolutely, definitely a problem. Finally bought, oh no, I'm so sorry, Michael. That's awful. All right, jumping down in the chat because I'm behind. We've got more super chats. Michael, $10. Love my Tilta Nucleus M. Nice. Well, thank you for the donation. And Tilta's pretty, I love those little wireless guys. Okay, so since I'm already kind of jumping all over the place, I'm going to jump all the way down to the bottom. And if you have a question, and if I missed it, I'm sorry. But I'm going to try to get in here and knock out as many of these as possible. Question, can you please make a video on how to expose using zebras? I've seen Gerald Dunn's video, but it's a bit confusing. Help me out. So, yeah. Yes, there might be a video upcoming in the future, but all you really need to know is zebras, for the most part, are going to measure 0 to 100. That's kind of your 100 is whites, 0 is blacks, and you pick a level for your zebras. And what's confusing, and I think throws people off a lot, is zebras will often not show you like one exact range. So you might set it to 50 so you can check, people's skin, but it might show you everything 50 and below. So that's where you need to do some tests, and maybe you need to raise it up to where you see no zebras and then bring it down a little bit until you start to see them, or lower it and then bring it up until you just start to see zebras. But yes, exposure, I've been wanting to do like a mega video on that, and we'll hopefully get to that here soon. Robert, $10 donation from Robert Holguin. Thank you, Robert. If you have a question, let me know, and I will get to that, sir. Really appreciate it. All right. Thoughts on the new Canon R5 former that virtually eliminates overheating. Is it the perfect hybrid camera? I don't know, Justin. I've not used one yet. I ordered one and then canceled the pre-order back when, things were coming out about the overheating. But it seems like Canon just keeps fixing it. So, yeah, that's great. Seems like a lot of people are getting into that camera. Hey, Caleb, cool microphone. Where did you get it? Haha, I think you're joking, but if you're not, video I posted earlier today. You can make it for $30 or less. Let's see. Do you have any tips on getting the most out of small studio spaces? I'm struggling having a clean setup while also storing gear. Ooh, good question, Nate. I'm working on a guide on that. I think I might take a break or stop doing camera guides, by the way, once I finish my GH6, which is hopefully next week. And I think the first one's going to be like a video desk masterclass. So it's just going to be hardcore, getting into the nitty-gritty weeds about small studio spaces, desk setups, for specifically YouTube content creation. And we will be addressing backgrounds for that. I totally get it, man. That's really, really tough. When in doubt, white backdrop kind of as far back as you can get it. Or foam board. I like, 4 foot by 8 foot foam, like insulation board. Paint it white. You can like cover up an entire shelf of gear and it looks like a white wall. You could even pin up, posters or something. Run some string lights across it or whatever. And super lightweight. When you're done, stick it to the ceiling or move it behind a door. It's a great way to kind of mix up and give some negative space behind you in a small space. Explain your best lens, Cine Photo Zoom. Actually, I'm thinking about doing a video on the only 2 lenses I use really anymore. But I'm going to say just a standard zoom. f2.8, going to get the job done. Pocket 4K versus 6K Pro, worth the extra money. I would say yes. I think the Pocket 4K is really long in the tooth, so unless you really can't afford it, try to go with a 6K. Color's much better. You've helped my work so much. Thank you, Robert. Oh, okay, yes, the donation. Trying to balance color between my A7 III and FX3. It's tricky lighting situation. The A7 looks off in comparison. Should I just give up? If you can, Robert, sell the A7 III and get an A7 IV. I know that's a price jump, but you'll be able to shoot on 10-bit on both of those in S-Log3, S-Game at 3.cine. That's going to be much easier. The A7 III, no matter how perfect you try to get your white balance, is going to introduce funky purpley green stuff that you just can't control. So that's probably what I would recommend doing if possible. All right, ASMR animals. Which is more impactful in filmmaking, video or audio? Which is easier to get wrong? Oh, man. I mean, audio is important. They're both really important. If you can get them both semi-decent, that's good. But yeah, of course, if you can get better sound and okay images, that's going to be better. Or maybe use your editing to make your images look better. So yeah, easier to get wrong. I would say audio is really easy to get wrong because we're often focusing on our image. And we're not all sound experts, and that's really hard to do right. All right, what do we got here? All right, we got Ryan up in here. Whoops. There we go. Sorry about that. Ryan Tim is trying to do 2 people, 2 cameras, same room Zoom call for customer pitch meetings, having crazy audio feedback issues. Any recommendations? So are they all in the same room? Oh, I see what you mean. So you got to get headphones on people, right? Whether that be AirPods, or you can do this number, you know? Have a person be like this. Oh, yeah, John, that's a great point. And they've got an AirPod right here, but you can't see it. So they can hear the person. There's no feedback issues. That's probably what I recommend. If you can't do wireless, you can always do a wired and run it down their back and tape it. Probably what I would do. Just cheat it a little bit. Just bring them over. You know, you can put a camera in, you can put a monitor in frame so people can see, oh, I'm talking and looking at a monitor, if it's something like that, so you can sell it to them that way. That's probably what I would do. How often do you use a gray and white cards to set the camera, or you just go with a custom Kelvin? Depends on if I have time. If I don't have time, I just wing it and I grab Kelvin and try to get something close. And if I do have time, I throw a gray card in there. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water from my mega jug, excuse me. If you don't know what that's all about, we can jump back further in the video. What's up, Meeps Music? Another super chat, this time from Michael. Please check out BitFocus Companion. BitFocus Companion. I'm going to screenshot this and I will check that out later. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. What is RGB bar light I'm using in the background? That's actually just an old school Quasar, 3000 Kelvin, super cheap, and it's on a dimmer right now. So it's way dimmed down. It's way too bright otherwise. Excuse me. Why do you use a boom mic in this live streaming? Why don't I? It just hides sounds, right? Like I have a non M1 or M2 or MX5 Ultra, whatever the heck the new Apple machines are, and my laptop's screaming right now. Sometimes the air cake sounds, sometimes someone's in the parking lot driving around. So between my preamp, which you can check out in the link in the description with this whole desk setup, and having a microphone close, I can hide a lot of issues. It's a good question. Sorry, I meant that one. I don't know if that one popped up or not. Do you think the I don't know, man. I've not really done Nikon stuff in a long time. I think once I checked out a Nikon camera, or like own for a short period of time, is the Z6, and I'm just not convinced. You know, sure, their new flagship is cool, but that's a lot of coin. So I'm still not, sold on Nikon. But if you have that stuff, no sweat. You can make it work. So I can't really answer your question about that, long story short. Yes, Brian. Brian. Yes, Zooms are fantastic. Oh, good to know, Bart. Nice. our resident Blackmagic expert. Could you do a video on softbox, round softboxes, beauty dishes, reflectors, inside? So, yes, there's a difference between all of that stuff, but honestly, a big softbox is gonna do just fine, unless you want, a large light source, but you want little pops and sparkly and to change the characteristics on skin. But for most video purposes, just a large softbox with good silks or diffusion is gonna be just fine. I wouldn't sweat. Like beauty dishes, they're kind of heavy the bigger you get. Just get a good softbox. Favorite tripod? I kind of talk about budgety-ish stuff. And so right now the GH06 by E-Image is still my favorite. If I were just running a production company, I'd probably just have a bunch of Miller heads though. Miller sticks. Really good stuff. Ben's Watch Club. Good to see you, Ben. How are ya? Recommended sites for buying product photography, props, surfaces, textures. Ooh, that's a good question. I would recommend going to your local hobby store. So one of my favorite places is Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Finding some interesting like faux leathers. Hobby Lobby in particular, at least in my area, at the very back of the store, they have a huge wall of like the stuff you're supposed to use for like the backing of big paintings. So it's almost like a cardboardy paper, but they're big and there's a billion colors and textures, and I love those. That's what I mean. Like the video I posted today, that kind of goldish yellow, that was one of those boards. So Hobby Lobby all the way in the back, fun stuff there. Yeah, that's probably what I recommend. Oh, of course, in Home Depot, just walk around Home Depot and look for weird stuff. See what you can find in the lumber department, or like siding, or, stair treads. You can find all kinds of weird stuff in kind of the back corners of places like that. Thanks for being a fan of our... Oh, Janet. Awesome. From Tamron. Have you tried the G2? I have not, Janet. Just still rocking the G1. That's fun. Do you have a favorite tripod? Right, so we got that, Ben. E-Image GH06. Question, what do you think of DJO Film Pictor Zooms 3-lens pack for 8K? Brian, I have not played with those, so I really can't tell you. But I know, CVP has been killing it with content like that. So if we go to YouTube... Hopefully nothing weird shows up. This is not my account. It's not signed in. Let's see. CVP Pictor Zooms. Yeah. These guys right here. This is what you want to... This channel is amazing. Big fan. I should know this guy's name, but he's just been doing a great job. So 100% if you're into like that, I don't know, pro to intermediate cinema gear stuff, that is a fantastic channel to follow. Okay, what do we got here? What do we have question-wise? And sorry if I missed your questions, guys. I'm trying to do it chronologically. What is your main camera recently, and why do you choose it? A7 IV, giant sensor, huge resolutions. I can zoom way into like 150, 200%. Don't even notice. And it's cheap, and I use it for everything. So big fan. 10-bit, it's good stuff. As long as you're not going to have an issue with rolling shutter, but I don't whip my pans, as it were, back and forth. Why aren't you sponsored by Storyblocks like every other video YouTuber in the world? I so far have just decided not to do sponsors, and I know it's straight up stupid. Like, I don't even want to think about how much money is being left on the table. However, I hate the idea of having to be like, this video is brought to you by Storyblocks. Now, as I say that, I am not at all knocking on anybody that, does sponsorship. So please don't take this, what I'm about to say, as, I'm better than everyone else. That is 100% not the case. I'm just weird and, in a way, lazy. I've never liked the idea of having the content be driven by, sponsors. And again, not that other people are doing that, but I don't want to have to wake up and be like, snot, I got to make a video because I owe a sponsor or something. I just hate owing people anything. I don't do loans. I try to pay, or I do pay everything in cash. I just owing people things. And, me personally, I just feel weird about it. I just don't like it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. What's hilarious is that might change someday, but at least for right now, I've done this for 12 years without it. So might as well see if I can just, get along without doing sponsorships. But that's a great way to earn a living. And again, not knocking anybody who does sponsorships. If you have a YouTube channel, you should probably be doing sponsorships if you want to survive. So hopefully that answers your question, and hopefully no one is offended if you're watching this and you do sponsorships, because that's not my intention at all. Watching your videos from France. Any setting tips for vlog? Great question. Welcome. Overexposed by a stop and a half. Use the luminance spot meter, right? Put it on something. You can also use the meter at the bottom of the camera, but you can use a gray card. Set it to 1.5 stops. Done. Bring that footage in, push it down a little bit. It's going to clean up noise beautifully. And stay tuned for my guide on the G6. Should be out next week, and I cover all of that at an absurd level of detail. Oh, boys and girls, we're going to have to wrap this bad boy up. I know we got some super chats to get to. Best DSLR mirrorless camera for all around low light budget filmmaking. I'm going to say hopefully these upcoming cameras from Sony and Canon. If you're on a budget, wait for those crop sensors and see what they do, because those could be pretty baller. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys are dropping these killer questions. We have to extend this or come back next week because these are great. Let's do that another day because I think there's some really interesting cameras coming up. But right now, probably R7 crop sensors. We keep talking about that. I want to see those. So I'm scrolling down because I saw we've got some super chats. $3 super chat from Marcus Love. Again, Marcus, my goodness, how do I port out video from Andy A6? I mean, is there a pass-through? Otherwise, you can look on Amazon for an HDMI mirror box. It takes one input and spits out two outputs. You put one to your monitor and one to whatever else you need. They're like $10. You could Velcro it to the back of your monitor. Scrolling down. You guys, I'm gonna have to oh, this is fantastic. Love the jokes here in the chat with the sponsorship thing. Okay, $10 donation from Brandon. I'll sponsor your chat today. Dude, get out of here. Thanks, Brandon. Really, really appreciate it, man. And Jeremy, another $10 donation. Dang it, Brandon made a joke before me. Thanks for all the help over the years. Totally changed the game for me. Thank you, Jeremy. Very, very kind. Really appreciate that. And Mr. Junkie, just reffing in the chat here. Remember to hit the like button. All right, boys and girls. I think we've had our share of fun in this live stream. I've completely enjoyed hanging out with you guys. You've been very kind with all of the fantastic questions, kind words, donations. Really appreciate it. Let's just keep this train rolling, shall we? Maybe next week we'll just keep doing another live stream, and that'd be 4 in a row. That's like a huge deal for me. I've been so bad about these. So hopefully we can make this a regular thing. Keep rocking the live streams. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Really great questions. Let's do this again soon. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great night.